There's just something so magical and adventurous about summer. And maybe for me, it's the nostalgia of childhood. Like you don't have to worry about school. School is out and you're on vacation and you're going on adventures with your cousins across your grandparents' ranch and you're sailing and you're camping and you don't really have a care in the world aside from don't get bitten by rattlesnakes and you ripped your clothes again on barbed wire. But details. It is a season of adventure. It is, yes, a season of extreme heat, which I personally love. But I still get super giddy and excited when I think about summer, and summer is still my all time favorite season. Now, I do recognize that the economy is struggling and that gas prices are ridiculously high to make us all go broke. But I wanted to give you ideas that are very budget friendly, if not free activities that you can do to still have adventure this summer, to still have fun with your summer.
Part 1. Outdoor Activities. Idea number 1. Watch a sunrise.
It's such a great way to start off the day, embracing the sun, embracing the light as it's starting the day. I don't necessarily mean embrace the heat, unless you're like me and you're a little reptile that, thrives on the heat, like I do. I will still admit when it gets to 100 and 105 that yes, that is warm, and not necessarily a temperature I like to be outside in. But what I mean by embrace the sun is embrace the light. Especially before winter sets in and you have those shorter days and then you're trapped in an office with no windows and fluorescent lighting and you never get to see the sun. And I would encourage you to do this outside in nature. Go to a local park, set up a lawn chair in your backyard, whatever. But I would encourage you to do it from outside. You can't do this from inside if you have a good view and you prefer the air conditioning, but I would encourage you to greet the day in nature outside, greet the sun. I personally am a morning person. I absolutely love watching sunrises, and I started doing it where I do it with tea and my Bible and my prayer time, and I call it Tea with Jesus. So one of the things that I really want to do is to go watch sunrise over Galveston. So Galveston is on the east coast, which means you don't really get good sunsets because the sun is setting behind you over the land. But one of the things to do is to go watch sunrise over the water. So that's one of the things that I really want to do this summer is watch sunrise over Galveston.
Idea number 2. Watch a sunset.
Now, alternatively, if you're not a morning person, you could watch a sunset. Or you could watch both. But watch a sunset and have a relaxing drink at the end of the day, saying goodbye to the day, and soaking in that summer evening, summer nighttime as you watch the sun go down.
Idea number 3. Go wild swimming.
It's hot. Go swimming. Go outside into nature. Go outside into the waters. And try this with natural bodies of waters. Obviously, there are man-made pools, and if you have a pool in your backyard, great. If you have a neighborhood pool, great. But I would encourage you to try to find also a natural body of water close to where you live, whether that is the ocean, a lake, a river, a creek, and go spend some time cooling off in the heat of the day.
Idea number 4. Go tubing.
Ways to do this also that go with this idea of embracing the water. A big thing here in the American South is to go tubing. If you've never been tubing, you literally just get a floaty of some kind and you go put in upstream and you literally just float the river going downstream. And it is so relaxing and it is so great. Just remember to bring your sunscreen or you will be an absolute lobster by the time that you finish. So, especially if you found like a spring-fed river, they're usually a lot cooler, and It's one of my favorite things to do. But again, make sure that you bring your sunscreen.
Idea number 5. Go boating.
You could also, if you want something a little more active, go canoeing, go kayaking, uh, go sailing if you're able to. I grew up on the water. I absolutely love sailing. I grew up doing spring canoe trips in the Texas Hill Country, and it's such a relaxing way to get back with nature. And again, a way to cool off. Yes, it can get hot when you're out there on that boat, but you know what you do? You drop sails, you throw down an anchor, and make sure you have a way to get back up, and then you jump overboard. And you go swimming, and then you climb back up, and you jump off the boat into the water. And it can be a great way to cool off and relax. With canoeing or kayaking, you're just paddling, you feel too hot, you just roll right over into the water and cool off that way. And it feels so good.
Idea number 6. Cruise for a day.
This is kind of related to the boating idea. And if you don't want to like be the pilot of the boat or renting the boat yourself, you could go check and see if there are any local like day cruises that you can do. And I know some places this gets way more expensive than others because it's part of a big tourism thing. But like here in Galveston, I think that they have like dolphin watching tours for like 10 or 15 bucks, which is not terrible, considering what you're getting. But go see if there is a day cruise that you could go do. But go just check and see if there's any local boating tours if you live near a lake or near the ocean. And are there any like whale watching or dolphin tours that you could go do going out?
Idea number 7. Go camping.
I, again, grew up camping, grew up sailing camping, and I absolutely love it. You get out into nature, you sit around that campfire roasting your marshmallows and making s'mores. You sleep in that tent listening to the frogs or the wind in the trees, and you wake up and you greet the sun in the morning in your tent with the fresh air. Now, if you're one of those glamping people, I totally understand. Take your RV out, whatever. But I would encourage you to do it in a way that is close to nature. And this does not have to be expensive. Most state parks and most campgrounds, especially if you are tent camping, are incredibly cheap. $15 to $20 for a campsite. And that's just for the site. That's not per person. So get together a group, if you're able to, and go and embrace nature camping out in the wild.
Idea number 8. Watch a bat emergence.
This to me is one of the coolest things. I fell in love with it when I was in Carlsbad, New Mexico, going to Carlsbad Caverns. And it was just so majestic and so cool. And again, it's part of that saying goodbye to the sun as it sets and watching the bats come out for the night. Bats are adorable. They're just puppies with wings. Sky puppies. Have you ever seen a little bat burrito? They're so adorable. So there's tons of places to go do this. Check out if there's caves near where you live. I know here in Texas we have Austin. There's one of the main bridges, I think it's Congress Avenue, and they have a huge bat colony that lives under this major bridge. And so you can go watch that just out in public. It doesn't cost you anything. But a lot of times state parks or there's private caves and stuff like that will have programs with bats, or you can pay to go watch as they come out. And usually, again, if you're getting into a state park, the entrance fee is not that expensive, especially if you have a park pass.
Idea number 9. Go on a picnic to the park.
If it gets very hot where you are, you could make this a morning picnic and do it first thing. You could combine this with watching your sunrise. This doesn't have to be complicated. This doesn't have to be expensive. Just take whatever food you want to eat from home. You could even grab leftovers, grab a pre-cooked meal, heat it up in the microwave, put it in a container, drive out to the park, spread out a blanket, and then just eat your food and make it what you want. Like right now, I made a thermos full of tea, and I brought one of my special squirrel mugs. I have like a whole collection of animal themed mugs. And I just pour tea out of a thermos so that I can have tea to drink when I'm here at the park.
Idea number 10, go cloud hunting.
There is an entire organization called the Cloud Appreciation Society, and you can go sign up on their website for the fee of 50 or 60 bucks. And for said fee, they will send you an email once a week with a picture of a cloud. You don't have to pay 50 or 60 bucks to appreciate clouds. Combine this with your picnic. Take your blanket out, go outside and go cloud spotting like you did with a kid. Appreciate the different types of clouds. You could even make it a scientific study where you learn to identify the different types of clouds. Or you could be a kid again, and what does that cloud look like to you, and appreciate that. If you live in a place, example out in the desert, where there are fewer clouds, you could browse pictures of clouds online. But learn to appreciate the sky and the clouds.
Idea number 11, learn beekeeping.
Beekeeping is an interesting idea. Obviously, this one would take some money and training, obviously, but this could be a fun one as long as you don't have extreme allergies to bee stings. But a way to learn a new skill to get out into nature and to embrace it.
Idea number 12, seasonal fruit picking or purchasing.
So a lot of local farms will have a way for you to go pick fruit on their farm, whether that's berries or fruit from trees or whatever. Go and harvest it yourself, and then you pay by like the pound or the half pound or whatever. And so this would be a really, really fun way to get outside, to get, again, closer to nature, to get tons of fresh fruit, and to embrace the season. Alternatively, if you don't want to be like out in the heat doing that yourself, stop at your local farm stands or your local farms and buy fresh fruit from them. A way to support your local farmers and to experience like the seasonal fruit as they're actually in season and ripe.
Idea number 13, press flowers.
I've really enjoyed this year watching what flowers come out at what point and kind of keeping track. What are your seasonal your spring flowers versus your summer flowers? I was telling my dad recently on a road trip that I was really enjoying like the color palette change. The spring in Texas, you get all those really, really vibrant colors. And then as we're heading into summer, it's like most of the wildflowers are yellow. And so you have your sunflowers, your blanket flowers, your black-eyed Susans, your daisies, your dandelions, and stuff like that. And it's more of a yellow palette, like the sun, like summer. And so learn to identify these summer flowers. Obviously, find an ethical place to pick them, whether that's a local park where they're not protected or national forest or whatever, national grasslands. And collect some flowers, your backyard, if you have like roses or whatever flowers that you were growing there, and press them. And again, this doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to buy a flower press. Just get a big book, put some paper in there to protect the pages, and put the flowers in between, and then press your flowers in between it.
Idea number 14, start an insect collection.
Related to this, you could do insect collecting. This one doesn't appeal to me as much, but I do find myself like occasionally I'll see a dead cicada and think, oh, they actually look super cool. I want to save that body. Again, this doesn't have to be expensive. All you need is a glass jar. And I read that you can use like rubbing alcohol or nail polish remover, and you just put it on a cotton ball, put it in the jar, and then as you catch insects, you put them in there and it suffocates them just enough. And then you can preserve them, and you could make your own study and collect your own favorite insects and make it a journal exercise to learn about the insects.
Idea number 15, go to the zoo.
The zoo is such a cool place. I absolutely love the zoo and all of seeing all of God's beautiful creatures and creation that he made. Now, again, this can be warm if you're going to go do this in the heat of the day. And it can also, I understand, get expensive. But a lot of times if you go with a group and you pitch in and you get like a family pass, it can be cheaper. And some places have completely free zoos, depending on where you live. And there's different types of zoos as well. If the heat is going to be a factor, see if there's an indoor aquarium that you could go do instead. And again, that's usually all indoors, and you can go still look around at the different creatures. Or do a drive-through wildlife park. There's quite a lot of those where you can do the drive-through wildlife parks. In Houston, north of Houston, actually, we have a wolf sanctuary, and you can actually go camping and listen to the wolves howl at night. And now this is on my list of things to do for the summer, is to go camping with the wolves.
Idea number 16. Go hammocking.
This is one that really confused people when I lived in South Dakota and they had never heard of the concept, which is weird. But maybe it's more of a southern thing. And it's not that complicated, and you go string up a hammock between two trees and you just lie in your hammock and chill. There's nothing wrong with that. Bring a book to read, take a nap, but just enjoy being outside in a hammock. It's pretty cool.
Part 2. Indoor activities. Idea number 17. Finish your TBR.
We all got one. We all know that you have that one. And now you're going to have tons of time with summer, and you're going to wonder what to do with your summer, and then you're going to complain about the heat. I present to you your TBR, your shelf with all those books that need to be read. I have my own, and I intend to work on it this summer. I finally finished one for my TBR. I finally finished the book that I was reading. And so now I can pick up the next book on my TBR. But if the heat is too much to really go do a whole lot outside, just pick up a book. Start working on your TBR. You can read it from the comfort of your sofa, your bed. You could go to a local coffee shop and read there. And just get out and find an adventure in the literary sense.
Idea number 18. Deep clean or clean out your home.
So usually we tend to say spring cleaning. And this goes back to like when you would be shut in all winter and it's time to air out the house and it's time to get a good thorough cleaning that you wouldn't have gotten during the winter back in the day. But why not do your hardcore cleaning when it's too hot to do much outside? Take advantage of your air-conditioned home and use it to go on a deep clean and clean out of your home. I always feel very accomplished when I do this. But go on a deep clean of the home. Clean up those nooks and crannies that you wouldn't usually. Get a duster and actually do some dusting. And then make an effort to actually go through and clean out stuff. Go through your closet. Get rid of stuff that you don't need. Stop being such a hoarder. And here I'm speaking to myself and my craft closet. I need to go through my crafting closet and admit to myself that thing that you picked up for that project 10, 15 years ago, you haven't started that project yet, so why are you still hanging on to that project? And I need to actually make myself organize and get rid of some stuff from there. And I think this would be good for all of us.
Idea number 19. Build a fairy garden.
This is one that if you're going to do it in a pot, it doesn't necessarily need to be done outside in the heat. You could cover your table with a tablecloth, cover your kitchen island, and bring your pot inside and all the things that you want to do for your fairy garden. Now, this could be something, again, if you're not wanting to spend money on plants, and like me, I have a very black thumb. Those plants will die shortly. But you could take your pressed flowers, you could dry some leaves. You could even, instead of pressing flowers, dry them by hanging them upside down. and build one that's not like a living fairy garden, but just collect some pebbles, collect some rocks, and make a fun fairy garden like you did when you were kids.
Idea number 20. Go escape a room.
An escape room. This one can be more expensive, but it can be so much fun, and you can get together a group of friends and go do this. And I personally absolutely love escape rooms and the puzzle and the mystery and the activity of it. I just wish that they would last a little bit longer. They always feel like they end way too soon for me, and it's like, no, I wanted this adventure to keep going. But when that bookshelf opens onto the hidden wall and the hidden room, I actually scream because childhood goal fulfilled, to find that hidden room behind a bookshelf that was actually a secret door.
Idea number 21. Solve a mystery game.
Now, with this, if you don't want to pay money to go to a place to do an escape room, there are mystery games that are the same concept that you can do in your home. So like my friend Elizabeth Chaffin, she owns a company that she writes her own mysteries that you have to solve called Bearded Rat Mysteries. And I have played one of her games before. It's super fun. I had a group of 4 people, and we had so much fun doing her mystery game.
Idea number 22. Join an RPG.
You could also do role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons or something, which again doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. But go to your local gaming store and see what they have, if they have groups that you can join. And usually, a lot of times these things are for free, and everybody loves to introduce new people to the game. So go see if there is some kind of role-playing group that you can get involved in, or murder mysteries online for you to download that you could play the game.
Idea number 23. Craft.
So we've talked about a lot of different crafting ideas on here, from pressing flowers to drying flowers to building a fairy garden and stuff. And so crafting doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. You could find ways to do crafts with what you have on hand. Learn how to paper mache. Paper mache is like an easy recipe that you can make at home. Or teach yourself how to draw. Watch YouTube tutorial videos on how to draw, or painting, or something like that. Teach yourself something new. Get your mind engaged. Get your creative spark going, and have fun making something.
Idea number 24. Go visit museums.
I absolutely love going to museums. There's so many different kinds of museums. You could do art museums, history museums, nature museums. We have a funeral museum here in Houston, which is not one that I am interested in going to, but the point stands that there's all different kinds of museums. So just take a look at what museums there are and how expensive they are. Sometimes they're free, but have fun with it. So there you go, a whole bunch of ways to fill in your summer and make it productive and adventurous, whether that be physical or literary. What is one of your favorite ways to fill in the summer, or one of your favorite summer activities? Let us know so we can add it to our list.